and welcome to the Meeple Mentor YouTube channel. I'm Jared, and today we're going to do an unboxing for the latest Kickstarter delivery from Capstone Games. This is Clinic, with a number of the extensions, which are essentially expansion content for their hospital heavy Euro game, Clinic. I do have the deluxe game, so these are all just the expansion content. We're going to look at each one of these in this video, the second, third, fourth campaign book, and these are the COVID-19 pandemic additional stuff. So very relevant, very thematic. And if you haven't played Clinic, this is essentially a hospital management type game where you're trying to run and build the most successful hospital in treating patients and hiring doctors and all that kind of stuff than your opponents. There's a lot of content here, so I'm going to start with the small bits here and then go right on through them. So we have a campaign book right here in the bag. So if you want to play a campaign, this is how it works out. Story, medium. Okay, so we've got the medium campaign, you've got the introduction, expert campaign, and then it goes on. Interesting. Okay. Has a number of events and story to actually play through. That's cool. So it's another option on how you can get more invested in what's going on within the game, other than just the Euro mechanisms and the gameplay itself. But you can play through each chapter here, as you can see, and log how you did. And that is kind of how that works. And then on the back, see for which players, draw a star in those players' columns and leave the others. So what was the name of the final event? Which players have an air conditioner for every floor of every building? Yeah, so it's a post-game assessment for how each chapter went. Looks like it's just going to have this 4 different chapters of gameplay to follow the storyline. So that's cool. That's what this one is. It's a nice little booklet. It's got a high quality type of book. Doesn't feel cheap at all. And here's the COVID-19 extension that I think was added last minute, and I don't even remember them talking about it, except for maybe in the updates in Kickstarter. So here's the little introduction and rules for the COVID-19 pandemic expansion, and honestly, it's just these first 2 pages. Everything else, they kind of made this so that it's short enough that they printed every language in it. So the whole book, all you need to do is find the 2 pages for you. And you've got the board here that you have kind of to overlay on the board, is my understanding on this. And you have kind of viral tokens, and then like an antidote token and all that kind of stuff. So maybe your cube patients get these, or I'm not sure how it's going to get tracked. But I'm looking forward to trying it out. This is going to be interesting, and who knows? We'll see. Now, I think this is where a lot of the major content will be, is in these box extensions. So in the second one, you can see an overview of the contents, and I'll just read what they say and how they add it. In Clinic Extension 2, you'll go even further in the realistic management of a clinic. You will hire tireless stretcher bearers and young secretaries just out of school to help create efficiency in your building. The new reanimation, emergency, and radiology departments will help you to welcome new patients. Pediatric hubs will even let you provide the best care for children. The ultra-modern scanner, soft beds, and even the ever-important coffee machine will undoubtedly allow you to charge more for taking care of patients. Still not satisfied, hire yourself as a clinic director to manage staff more effectively and tackle the various events that will punctuate your games. This box includes 13 expansion modules that can be mixed and matched with the base game and all extension boxes to create a huge amount of variety in your Clinic games. Wow. I am so, overwhelmed already just thinking of how complicated this game is and adding more to it. It's definitely not going to be for everybody because of how complex of a game it is. But hey, if you and your friends like those heavy Euros, then this is going to be really nice for you guys and for me. I like the heavy games. Anyway, we've got a university here. We've got a lot of the stuff that's going to go over the board. So the bearers, and probably instead of the nurses, we have a longer track right here. We've got some new tokens, including a bed or a patient in a bed, coffee, and this must be the secretary or extra nurse tokens. And we've got one of the childcare facility hubs that you can add into your game. You've got, what is this one? Bed, patients, players. I think this is how many patients. This is where like the tokens will go so that you can collect them, and then that's the charge. And this is kind of how they work on the time for how much it advances you. And because time management is a huge deal in Clinic. I can't tell yet by the looks of what all of these are, but of course you have the blue kind and then the pink kind that actually like treats patients. And then on the other side of this is another punch board. So this is the small board for the green tokens that we saw. And here looks like are some, well, hiring costs or being able to get more guys. And they each come with one car, even the double dudes carrying the stretcher. And here we have added a board for more of the types of facilities, or what is the hospital term for where you treat them. But anyway, treatment centers, right? So all that's extended. We have a morgue now for all your people that died. So a way to keep track of that, perhaps. I don't know if it needs to be shown, but there is a tile for the morgue for 4 of them. And then over here is the final punch board. And here we have some more beds, and looks like you've got an infinite nurse available there. We've got the staff that provides the supplies, but they're in there as well. Okay, and here we have a different set of hiring cost tokens for purchasing these types. Looks like it's either or in this, and you can only buy one. Okay, special module. This is a little extra token in here. And then I don't know why you have this, but that's going to be explained in the rules 1 through 6. So, and then this one here too, I think is going to be some of the in-game stuff, and, or at least end of round stuff. And here we have the rule book, surgeon, medical scanner, beds, events. So I think these numbered tokens are for events. The CEO, which is that token and module with the brown worker there, pediatrics, adding round 7. So you have that overlay. Okay. We have a roll of baggies for all the new components that probably won't all fit in the original box. I mean, you've got the white tokens for the white patient guys. They're okay. You've got some more nurses. These are the double wood piece stretchers, and I believe these can, yep, they host a little dude just like that. Plop. This for the CEO. So you've got the guy who kind of looks like he's wearing a suit. We have the blue dude, which is holding something, but I can't tell. There's these. We have a lot more cubes. I feel like these are new colors of cubes as well, so different types. I believe these are nurses, and maybe now you have female nurses instead of just the generic blue, because that's kind of what the shape kind of looks like, with the hairstyle at least. I don't know if that's a gameplay difference or just for inclusion. Either way, it's cool. And here we have white and brown and the blue. All right, so these are all the guys that come in, and they separated out the white cubes for some reason. Set that aside for now. We've got these cards. So a few cards in there. These must be the events. So stuff that might happen or trigger, changing up certain aspects of the game, and costs perhaps, and then of course turn order there, and then selling different things on your end around, different negative points there, or time rather. So that's pretty much it for what comes in the game here for the second extension. So I'm going to try to make room here, put this stuff away. And I'm thinking I might go ahead and put that COVID extension in this box for now too. I see it over there. And then we'll move on to the third extension and see what comes in that. That'll fit there. And even the campaign book will fit nicely. All right. So that's the end of this one. The third extension. All right. You thought your clinic was complete, but did you consider adding some of the most extravagant and outrageous upgrades available? In Clinic Extension 3, you can add some amazing modules to your base game. You can call in the helicopter or a fire truck to try to quickly treat patients in critical condition. People making a hospital visit can check out the new gift shop, and you can even use therapy dogs to help accentuate psychiatric services. And there's a rumor that some patients saw ghosts in their rooms at night, but that's just talk, right? You will want to be careful with the new temporary workers because they're not yet settled in their new job. But maybe more important, keep an eye on the temperature of your air conditioning system. It's been making some weird rattling noise the last few days. This box includes 12 expansion modules and 3 variants that can be mixed and matched to create a huge amount of variety in your clinic games. So you can basically build whatever kind of game experience that you want with all these various extensions. And, you know, if you are really jazzed about the hospital theme and want to know like how you can get all this different stuff, like they've offered it. They really have. They've gone above and beyond, in my opinion. So here you can see you've got the helicopter access board that you can put out. Looks like this might be where the helicopters could land, if I had to guess. And here's a new board for some of the new content with the, looks like you got dogs, so you can treat some animals in here, like a vet. You've got this little token. The thing about this game, it's just full of symbols and everything that you know, it takes a turn or two to, you know, or even a full game to like get fully familiar with everything before I would say adding in these components and new stuff, because you're always just adding new icons as well to what you have to remember. All right, so you got some new tiles. Looks like this is for the ghosts and how the ghosts operate. I'm not sure how the ghosts exactly work, but looks like it's going to end up in some negative points if you don't take care of it. Some of the tokens here, that looks to be like a cigarette token. You got the handicap token. You've got a new parking board with, looks like we're gonna have the fire trucks to be able to park at. And then over here, new boards for this, which might be player count. If I had to guess, I'm not sure. And then we got some of the new hubs, the service hubs that you can get. And then lastly, this board. So it looks like each player will get one of these perhaps. Okay, we got another surgery room, air conditioning. So that's the air conditioning right there. And we've got this green one here. Looks like restrooms, honestly. It looks like you'll be able to add restrooms into it. I wonder what happens if you let them like go without peeing or something. If they make a mess and you lose points because you got to clean it up. I don't know. Air conditioners. So, you know, as they add these modules, I like how they separate it in the rulebook because you can just pick and choose which ones you want to add in. And it's all there. You know, there's the cigarettes, helicopters, and how all this works. Temp agency. Yeah. Curious about where the one with the bathrooms is, but I don't know. I'll figure that out. Interesting. There's some interesting content here. We've got some cards with a little plastic sleeve. We've got the red, orange, and green on how this affects, I guess, stacking up your, or how your building works out. So like if you can make your building look like this, because of course it can go up to like 3 levels, or yeah, because you got the floor and then level 1, 2, and 3. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So different ways that you can get extra points perhaps, and maybe negative points if you don't. I'm not sure how these are dealt out or anything like that, but it's on there. And we got some baggies for some of this stuff. So we have a cube bag, another one, another cube bag. See if I can get this open real quick. Let's see what they put in here. Okay. Extension 3. What's inside? Okay, there's some baggies and some loose stuff. Some general white cubes, some general brown cubes. All right, so let's take a look at the fire trucks. I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in how these look. So I'll hold those up. And they're pretty thin. I feel like this is about the same thickness as the cars, and generally most of the components actually, but so that's the kind of shape that you get. Ooh, I'm seeing some helicopters, and they just like the variety of being able to make all these custom looking meeples for this game. It's one of those games where when you see the wood pieces, it's unlike any other game. Like, they just don't reuse anything. They make their own stuff other than the cubes. Of course, they probably were like, well, we have to keep the cubes the same because of the way they draw out of the patient bag, but everything else they make custom looking people, and cars and workers and yada yada yada. So that's cool. All right, so here's some green workers, perhaps. Maybe they're the Ghostbusters, you know what I mean? Gotta call somebody, clean out the ghosts from the hospital. We have some really, really tiny animals, like little pets, little doggies. They're so small, but they still have like the cut in them that you can tell that they're in a sitting position. You've got this person who's carrying something. Could be like a fire extinguisher, but who carries a fire extinguisher like that? I don't know. There's that. Okay. That's these that were in there loose. Here we have some discs. This is probably to track some stuff, maybe with the vet hospital, because it's kind of the same color as the dog. So just some discs. We have some gray cubes, just kind of your standard wooden gray. And I think the most interesting here is these new ghosts, right? Let's take a look. So they kind of remind me of like rounded out bullets with kind of the cut pattern, little ridges at the bottom, so they can stand up, and they've got the little like sheet-like look to them. Like, ooh, interesting. They are pretty thick. These are much thicker than like say the truck or the helicopter, but looks to be about the same thickness as this guy and maybe some of the actual like hospital workers and stuff. So roughly the same size too. So that's cool. That's everything that's inside the third extension. Let me see if I can just kind of get this back in the box, make some room for the next and last fourth extension of Clinic Deluxe. All right. I'm just thinking ahead. If I did a tutorial for Clinic, I mean, the base game alone is going to be like an hour, I feel like. And now with all this extra modules, if I put it together, it's going to be like 2 hours, all these extra stuff. Oh man. So much, so much. Let me know if you're a backer and you've gotten your boxes of content yet, and if you've, what module you're most excited to try out first. So this is the final one. It's a much thinner box, as you can see. And then the back, expand your clinic downward. So I think the only thing that's going to be in here, can't talk, is the fact that you can have a basement. And I think your action tiles that you choose for your turns will now have a home to be and not just sit underneath. So this is the 1-page basement and components and setup and basic rules. Perfect. We have these longer tokens, and they are, looks like one of each. So there's like 4 or 5, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. So 3 different tokens 3 times. Okay. Interesting. New stuff that you can get. And of course, 4 new boards, 1 for each player color. So that you can, I don't know if you start with these or if you have to buy them. Noting that they have this color at the bottom makes me think that you start with these. I'm not sure. And I hope that these are going to allow you to park maybe at least 3 parking spots underground, because if you've been to a hospital, they have lots of underground parking, and I have. So that would be accurate if that were the case. So, but yeah, you've got these new boards for the basement and different ways on how they can score. And you've got these new tiles. I guess they might have to go underground. I'm not sure exactly, but they certainly do add something, and they're like 2 wide. So you can see they fit just like that. All right. Now, that is everything in the Clinic 2nd, 3rd, 4th extension, and everything that was delivered to me in the expansions from Clinic from Capstone. Thank you for tuning in to this unboxing. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you are looking for more good content about board games, I have a podcast where we talk about board games. We interview game designers. My bread and butter of the channel is twice a month. I put out tutorials that are fully detailed and expansive of medium and to heavyweight games primarily. And then news. I try to gather all the latest board gaming news for you and put that in a video, and I try to get those out every other week. This past weekend, of course, was Tantrum Con in Charlotte, so I was unable to get that news video out for that, but the next one will just have a lot more to talk about, essentially. And so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.